That's fucking delightful.
Keep your work rate up, be good to watch, and you get what you deserve. Keep it going.
Get a drink. Boom.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the ROKER Report podcast in association with the Sunderland Community Soup Kitchen. It's Gav, back once again. I'm beginning to think I'm a bit of a lucky omen because Sunderland won once more today against Rochdale. And joining us is Bomber. Bomber, how we doing, mate? Are you good?
Yeah, all right, Gav. Yeah, I'm all right. Not too bad at all. Another win, another clean sheet, so can't complain, can we?
No, absolutely not. And also over in Ireland, we've got Michael Dunn. Mike, how we doing?
All good, Gavin, yourself? I think this is our first time on together.
Yeah, I think so, mate. Yeah, we've picked a good one, haven't we?
We picked a good one, yeah. No, can't complain. Same as Bomber. Another good win. But obviously we'll get into the performance. Probably wasn't the best performance, but a win's a win at the end of the day.
That win puts Sunderland fourth in the table. We are 5 points behind Hull, who we have 2 games in hand on, and they top the league. With the results going our way today, I think if I look just quickly at the results, Peterborough got beat off Burton. Elsewhere, Doncaster won, Accrington won, Lincoln won.
Portsmouth got smashed, didn't they?
Pompey got absolutely battered the day off Northampton, who are 19th in the table. So we seem to be picking up points and winning games, whilst everybody else around us seems to be tripping up. It's all starting to come together, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It makes a nice change, because how many times have we been on or recorded and we've said that we've slipped up, but other teams have slipped up and we've not capitalised on those opportunities to pull points back. Yeah, it's nice to get a win and see other teams drop points around us. And it looks that, that gap between us, I think it's 4th now, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And 7th. There's a little bit of a cushion there now. So it makes us, we're looking at the teams above us, trying to catch them rather than looking at the teams over our shoulders, wondering whether or not we're going to drop out the playoffs. So, yes, it's refreshing, mate.
I'm very, very confident now. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling very, very confident about just our chances now of getting promoted, and it just shows how far we've come, doesn't it, Michael? When you look at the table and you see the results recently, it shows how far we've come in such a short space of time. Because probably a month ago, I just wouldn't have thought this was possible. But like I said just before, there results going our way, and the combination of that and Sunderland winning games is making things shape up for us now, and we look in a real strong position.
Yeah, it's chalk and cheese from what it was a few weeks ago. And I suppose, as you said, it shows what a few wins can do and a bit of confidence in the team. And I actually think maybe that run in the cup and the pizza trophies, they like to call it, is probably helping us as well. It adds to the momentum. And we're certainly in a really good place to get promoted now. Kind of reminds me of the time under Roy Keane when we went on that run at the second half of the season. So we'll see how it goes, but hopefully looking good. We're looking good.
It was a funny game today, wasn't it, Bomber, when you think about it? I mean, I'll just quickly run over how things went. We're playing second bottom in the table, a team who've been the whipping boys for a good few weeks now in this division, and missing a few of their good players as well, so it was a good chance to pick up 3 points. Yet we didn't really dominate, I wouldn't say. I think the first 10 minutes we were the best team. We got the early goal, and then from that point till half time we sat off, and I think actually the defending of Luke and Ollie Younger in particular, 2 great clearances, saved us, particularly at 1-0. How important is playing well at the minute? Because you hear it all the time, don't you? I've been hearing it in the Premier League and stuff, in the commentators sort of saying, well, it doesn't really matter if you're not playing particularly well, as long as you're winning games. That's the most important thing at this stage of the season. Is that the case for Sunderland, do you think?
It's a bit of a paradox, Gav, for me, because it is and it isn't. At this stage of the season, it's all about the 3 points. I don't care if they're scrappy 1-0 wins against bottom of the league. It's about keeping that scoreboard ticking over in terms of our total number of points. But on the other hand, you look at the games that we've got coming up, and you want the performances there as well, because it's all right not playing particularly well and coming away 2-0 winners against Rochdale or 1-0 winners against somebody else who's near the bottom of the league. But those games that are coming up, where we've got the likes of your Portsmouths, your Accringtons, the teams that are in and around us, you want the form to be there, because we're not going to get away with playing poorly or being average and scraping a victory against those sort of teams. Or we might against one of them, but certainly we're not going to do it 4 out of the 5 games that we've got against them. So it's a very, very fine line and a balancing act. I think ultimately, though, it's about points on the board, isn't it? And if we go to Fratton Park and scrap and fight and get a 1-0 victory, no one's going to remember how we played. They're just going to remember the 3 points that we've added to our total. So yes.
How are we keeping clean sheets though with this defence, Bomber? Like, it's crazy, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, we're literally down to the bare bones. the left back who's playing is horrendous, and everybody knows it. And I think Ant made a good point on the preview pod. Like, we've said enough about Callum McFadzean recently. I mean, we're all sick of talking about him, but he's poor. Sanderson is a relative rookie playing in the centre of defence. He's playing well every week. Then he brings in Younger, who's a rookie, basically, and he plays out of position at right back today. And then you've got Luke O'Nien, who's not a centre-half, playing left centre-half, and yet again, we keep a clean sheet. Like, how? How? What?
Well, I don't know. I think it must. Some of the credit must go down to the work that we do on the training ground, you know. And I think probably the back four, well, whoever plays in there, whether it's Younger at right back, Max Power at right back, Luke O'Nien at centre back, you know, a combination of Johnson and whoever's playing in those four defensive positions, the credit all goes to them, because it is as makeshift a back four week in, week out recently as you could possibly get. You know, I would liken it to kind of the defensive crisis that Liverpool have got, you know, where they're playing Jordan Henderson in at centre back. You know, we're as short as defenders as they are, and we seem to be coping with it a little bit better than they are currently. But yeah, it's credit. I think Sanderson's come in, he's stepped up to the plate, he's puffed his chest out, and he's just organised that back four in a way in which, if we were to look at those performances and say that was Bailey Wright, it wouldn't be out of place. He's commanding that back line just as good as Bailey Wright is. I'm astounded by it. But what I would say, again, as a bit of a caveat, and to look on the other side, the teams that we have been playing against, you know, shouldn't, in theory, cause us an awful lot of problems. How they stand up to a test against a Portsmouth, a Peterborough, we might be seeing a different story. But, you know, for the time being, you can only, the old cliche goes, you can only play what's in front of you, and we're winning and keeping clean sheets. So full credit to him.
Yeah, and just a word on the goals, Mike. The first one was a bit of a gift, wasn't it? I mean, McGeady does brilliant, to be fair, like, to win the free kick. He absolutely tortures his man for pace. I mean, you don't expect a man that age to be able to run as quick as that, but he does it, and then puts the cross into a very dangerous area. But I mean, Sanderson's totally unmarked, gets the goal. And then the second one is a great ball by Jones, and that man Charlie White once again makes his doubters, me included, looking a bit daft. Bomber shaking his head there because he was number one critic, weren't you? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, mate, yeah, absolutely.
Me and you know all about football, mate. Tell you. But yeah, those two goals, Mike. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was sort of a strange kind of first half, because we weren't really creating much, and we were just, I suppose it was an efficiency really getting those two goals. As you said, McGeady did really well. He should have burst the pace. Great cross in for the Sanderson header, but Mr. Paul McShane was at fault, I think, for that goal and for the second as well. Brings back the memories when he was playing for us.
Old habits die hard, don't they?
But yeah, it was kind of like the people we needed to stand up did stand up today. Obviously, Sanderson got the first goal. I thought he was brilliant today. And Wyke again. I'd love to know how many headers he's got this season now. I mean, it's incredible amount of headers he scored in the. What's he got? 25 goals or something. I'd say 60% of them have
20 league goals. I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an amazing return. But yeah, it was all about efficiency there at those two goals, because other than that, really, in the first half, we didn't create much chances from what I can remember, really. So
yeah, it's a funny one, but yeah, I'm just glad we've came away with the 3 points, and we move on. We don't. I mean, Pompey today, like we discussed at the top of the show, got absolutely battered. A lot of their fans calling for the manager's head, and who knows what may happen before Tuesday. But like you say, Bomber, we can only play what's in front of us at the minute. And
yeah,
Rochdale, second bottom of the league with loads of injury problems, still came here and tried to play a bit of football. So credit to them, really. They stuck to their guns, but ultimately we took our chances. They didn't. Right. Okay. We'll quickly flick on to the 3-word reviews, and as per usual, absolutely loads have came in. I'll start with Zerzin 5, says Dion is elite. Ant Waterson, our Ant, he says bring on Pompey. Joe Hughes says big dick Dion. Chris Glassick says Sanderson different class. Scott Richardson says Luke Terry 09. SAFC North Yorkshire says celebratory curry tonight. James says actual touch and distance. Yeah, true, we're right in there. Tony Pottinger says, just keep winning. Eddie says, not playing well. Ian Dennell says, keep winning, guys. John Ridley says, we go again. Ryan Smith says, see that back. Charlie Taylor says, how very nice. Carl says, 20-goal Wyke. Jeff Ram says, contenders are faltering. Jimmy Rutherford says, Jones knacked linesman. Yeah,
poor Lino.
We haven't talked about that. That was weird, wasn't it? The Lino dropping on his arse on the line. Andrew Ritson says, better second half. Elliot says, class is permanent. Hannes is top 3 closer, and also wine pie night.
Lovely.
Another 3 points is Stu Rutherford. Evan Lloyd says wingers showing class. Robert Barber says be like Wyke. And Michael Charlton will end on this, says Virgil van Sanderson.
You could do a job for Liverpool, I'd say.
Well, Sanderson's just been a revelation, hasn't he? Like, I just can't get over. Like, obviously he's came into the team because of injuries, and even when Wright and Willis were fit, people were sort of calling for him to get a chance, and he just wasn't. He was coming off the bench and playing right back, or he'd get a game and he'd be out the team the next week. He's really thrived since we sort of picked up all these injury problems, and I mean, I don't want to look too far ahead, but that cup final next weekend, he can't play in that game, and we need to find a way of dealing with that. Okay, we'll go into the player ratings then. I'll start with the keeper. I know I didn't last time round, but I will, because I thought Burge played really well and I want this one. Lee Burge, I mean, he had a good game through the week, and I thought today he was very good again. You know, made a very good save not long after half time, which he turned the ball around the post. I just thought he came out, he claimed all of his crosses. Kicking was good, passing out from the back was good. I mean, it was an all-round good performance from Burge. I know they're not particularly great, but he did have a bit more to do. And so I've given him an 8. I think Burge has probably had one of his better games this season and kept a clean sheet, another one.
I think that save early in the second half was pivotal. If that had gone in, that for me, that changes the whole dynamic of that second half, and we probably end up clinging on.
McFadden, I'll let you have him, Bomber.
Thank you. I actually didn't think he did too. There was a couple of moments where I was like, oh, come on. But I didn't think he did too bad. And similar to earlier in the season when me and Chris Wynn were talking about judging Charlie White by a Charlie White scale, I think we have to do the same for McFadzean now and kind of judge him on his own kind of scale. And for a McFadzean performance, it was okay. There was one bit, I think, late on in the second half where the ball bounced over. He jumped up for a header and the ball bounced over his head and went in behind him, which just made me laugh. But other than that, I thought he was all right. I've given him a 6. I don't recall any particular, massive ricks that he threw up. It's a 6. It's all right for him.
Yeah, I also gave him a 6, mainly just because, like you say, I don't think he did a great deal wrong. I mean, he got a yellow card in the first half, but it might have been a little bit soft. That I think it was a foul, but I don't think it was worth a yellow.
Yeah.
He put a great cross into the box early in the game, which the keeper spilled right at Jordan Jones's feet, and could have scored from that, and we didn't. For once, bit of good attacking play from McFadden. So I gave him a 6. Jimmy over on the site, he was a bit harsher than us. He gave him a 4. Mike, what did you give him?
I gave McFadden a 6. I was kind of similar to Bomber. I didn't think he was that bad. I think you're just going to have to accept that there's going to be lapses of concentration every time he plays. He's never going to have a perfect defensive performance, but I think what he is good at is linking up with McGeady at times and getting forward is probably what his strength is. And as you said, Gav, you did put a decent cross in the first half, but you're just going to have to accept those defensive lapses. They're not going to eradicate his game.
Next up is Ollie Younger, Mike. You can take him.
Yeah.
He came off not long after half time, didn't he? And played out of position. But how do you think he did in his League One debut?
Yeah, I thought he looked a little bit nervous at the start. I think he gave the ball away a couple of times. He miscontrolled it. But I think as the game went on in the first half, he did get better, and there was some really good defensive headers. One at the stroke at half time that would probably stopped a certain goal.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Looked a little uncomfortable at right back. I'm not sure if he got an injury or something at the start of the second half that he was taken off. But to be fair, for his first kind of league start, I don't think it was that bad. And hopefully he'll get better with more experience. So I gave him a 6 for today.
Yeah, I'd give him the same, and I think that clearance you're talking about is worth mentioning because we were only 1-0 up at the time.
Yeah.
The ball comes across the box. He doesn't flick that over the bar. That's ones each. And like I said on Tuesday when I gave Burgess rating, I think sometimes a good bit of defending or a good bit of goalkeeping is as good as a goal. There was a bit of defending from 09, which we might get onto, and there's also that from Younger, which I think definitely were as good as goals because they don't do that and we concede. So I don't disagree at all with that. Sanderson is next. That's mine. I gave him an 8 in both halves. I thought he was just great again. Like, it's been such a pleasure to watch him in the last few weeks. I tried thinking about this the other day, and he sort of reminds me of when Evans came in on loan under Roy Keane. Like a young lad who's just starting to find his feet in football. Yet you watch him and you think, has he been playing for the last 5 or 6 years? He's just so clever. I think it was James Nicholl in our chat who said that he he reads the game so well he could read a PDF on a calculator, and that's about right with Sanderson. He's just so good.
He's too good for this league, isn't he?
yeah.
By far already.
Yeah. I think if Wolves are still doing all right in the Premier League and he's got a year left on his deal, we might stand a chance if we go up at getting him back. But he's a championship player at least, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's not Portuguese, is he? Like, so he's not going to get into the Wolves team.
Yeah. I think it just depends on whether we go up, doesn't it?
If we go up, it's got to be number one priority.
Yeah,
hasn't it?
100%.
Oh, yeah. Someone asked me that on Twitter today on the ROKER Report account, like, number one priority if we go up in the transfer market, and I just replied with a photo of Sanderson. It's just, it's crazy. In a space of like a fortnight, he's just become our most important player. It's crazy. Max Power, I think that's you, Mike. You can take him, the captain.
Yeah, I suppose I wrote down for the first half. He showed for the ball a lot, in fairness, but I thought he was kind of non-existent really. Like, he didn't see much of him as the game went on in the first half. And he went to right back when Younger went off in the second half. He did fine. Solid but unspectacular. I think it's probably a bit of a dip from where his performance were the last few weeks. But it was a solid showing. I have a 6 down.
Yeah, same. Just
I've
got nothing written down for him other than that. Obviously, I make some notes, and the only thing I wrote down is that he went right back.
I was the same. I've got that he played in 2 positions and did both pretty well. So
yeah, I suppose if a player doesn't really stand out, it's not necessarily a bad thing, is it?
No.
Carl Winchester, then, Bomber. He's yours. He's another one who
We've missed that 09, Gav.
I've got him actually further down my list, but we'll go to that if we're doing defenders. Yeah. Okay, you can have 09 since you want him.
I've only said it because I wanted Luke 09 to make sure that I had him.
Desperate to talk about him.
Yeah. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. I've given him a 7 in the 8 in the first half, 7 in the second half, so kind of a 7.5 overall. There is a very specific, 2 very specific reasons why I've scored him so highly. Firstly was the kind of last ditch slide tackle, knee slide, kind of like John Terry-esque tackle with my head type block that he did. I think it was his chest. Yeah, he just kind of slid in. It was either off his chest or his hip or something.
Brilliant that.
Yeah, it completely last ditch, because I thought that fellow was getting on the end of that and scoring. I'll be honest, until he kind of slid in and he blocked it. So I thought that was fantastic. And the other thing that I wanted to, it wasn't mentioned in the goals, but anyone who didn't pick it up, I would urge everyone who's listening to go back and watch that Sanderson goal and watch Luke 09. As that ball comes in, just before that free kick comes in, Luke 09's got his arm round the back post defender, or the person who's furthest back, who should be picking up where Sanderson's ended up getting the header, and he's dragged him forwards and almost bumped him into another defender that's in front of him. And it's created about 5 yards of space for Sanderson to essentially have that free header. Because they were zonal marking, Luke 09's he's been proper shit out of it, but he's been really sly with it. And I would urge everyone to go back and watch that, because he's got his arm around him and just dragged him forward out of that space, that zone that he's supposed to be defending. And Sanderson's given a free header. And if he doesn't do that, Sanderson doesn't get a free header. Not saying he doesn't score necessarily, but it was very, very clever from Luke 09. I picked it up on one of the replays, so I've given full marks for that as well. So yeah, for me, it's an 8 for Luke 09. I thought he was brilliant.
You've went from a 7.5 to an 8 by the time you finished there.
Yeah, I talked myself up to an 8.
You've taught yourself into it. Yeah. Why not? Okay, Jordan Jones is mine. That assist was absolutely superb. I think that's the one thing we've seen with Jones since he came into the team in the last few games, is he's just got so much quality on the ball. I mean, he might not play outstanding for the full game. I mean, he came off with quarter of an hour to go, but he's just such a good player. You can just see it. Do you know when you're watching a player and you're like, yeah, he's good. Like, that's what I see with Jones. I don't think we're seeing the full what he can do totally, but I mean, you do see it in patches, and most importantly, in the last couple of games, we've seen it in important moments. So he got the assist for one of the goals today. Great goal last week, but I mean, today, just very involved, showed his quality when he needed to, and probably worth mentioning that he was out of position as well. I mean, he's not a right winger, he's a right-footed player, obviously, but he prefers to play on the left and cut inside like he did last week. But yeah, I give him a 7. I think first half he was probably better than in the second half. There was one moment, I think not too long before he came off, we sort of broke on the counter, and it looked more obvious to me to pass to Charlie Wyke, and he didn't. He held onto the ball for that extra half a second, played it back to McGeady, and it came to nothing, and Wyke standing there like fuming because he made a brilliant run into the box.
Yeah.
But I think, to be fair to Jones, since he came in, that's the first time I can look at him and think, well, you made the wrong
Any
decision
sort of
there.
criticism.
He hasn't done a lot wrong, has he?
He needs to keep starting, doesn't he?
It's very refreshing, Gavin. I was having this conversation during the game. Like, who was the last Sunderland player that you got genuinely kind of excited about? Who'd pick up the ball, run at a player, outpace a player, go around the outside, and just be direct and beat him for pace. And I can't remember the last person we had like that, and it's refreshing.
Yeah, to me, he's like a championship player playing below his level at the minute, and probably not playing to the peak of his abilities. You know, he's probably not quite as fit, quite as sharp as he would like to be. But you can just see that quality, it oozes.
Yeah, I think there's more to come from him.
Yeah, the more he plays, you get better he'll get. He has to keep starting though. Over the next few weeks, I think the more he plays, you'll see him get better and better. You don't want to put him back on the bench now next week. You know the way Johnson likes to chop and change.
Yeah, I think we missed out Carl Winchester, so you can have him, Mike.
Yeah, obviously he got an injury. Start the second half. I think it was his groin. They were saying.
Yeah,
but he looked very tidy on the ball. He's so relaxed with it, isn't he? I don't know how he's so chilled with the ball. With people around him, he can always get himself out of those little small spaces. I suppose that's why he's a professional footballer, and I'm sitting here watching it. But he did well. I don't think he did enough though. Like himself and Power didn't really control the midfield today. I think Rochdale really controlled the tempo of the game. Again, another player probably more to come from, but hopefully his injury isn't too bad. But he is really neat and tidy on the ball, which is good to see. It's kind of something different to what we have. But I gave him a 6, gone on 49 minutes with the injury, so we'll see what comes from that.
Aidan McGeady, I think's me, so I'll take this. Geed's just a typical McGeady performance. I think I touched on it at the start there with the first goal. I think he deserves the full credit for that, just for making the chance occur. He created the opportunity which led to the free kick and then put the ball in. I mean, he didn't dominate, I wouldn't say. I think teams are starting to work out who the danger man is in the team. Luckily for us, we've got a good squad, so if they're going to focus on McGeady, they're sort of not looking so much at Jones on the other side of the pitch. But happy enough with McGeady today. Another assist. I think he's still top of the assist league in League One, so that just shows how well he's done since he came into the team. And I gave him a 7. Just a decent performance. O'Brien, Bomber, he's yours. I've got written down that he just didn't touch the ball very much and didn't do much.
He was just very ineffective. Like it's not like he had loads to do and did everything wrong. He just didn't really have anything to do and didn't really, you could have been forgiven for forgetting that he was on the pitch. And I take some blame for that because I had him as an anytime goal scorer, so it was inevitable that, that he was going to do absolutely nothing. It was inevitable he was going to do nothing. But I had him as a 6 because I didn't think, like I said, he didn't do anything particularly poor, but again, he didn't really do anything. He's one of those frustrating players that, he runs around a lot, he puts pressure on defenders. And he's pretty decent with his back to goal, but from somebody who's come from the Championship, who's very highly regarded, you expect more than that.
Yeah, that sort of dominates my whole thoughts and feelings on the guy. He's dropped the league, and we were told by Millwall fans he was a player. You know what I mean? It's been tough, hasn't it, really, to watch him and sort of see maybe he's found his level.
Trying to pick things out where I'm going, that's brilliant. He's done really, really well there, and I just constantly find myself struggling. So it's a funny one. It was a 6. I said for me.
I gave him a 4. I think I may have been harsh, but
I gave him a 3.
Oh well, maybe not.
Okay.
You're the
I thought he
bastard
was
this
brutal.
week, mate.
Yeah.
You're the
he didn't do
bastard
anything
this week.
today.
No, I think Bomber's being nice, and we're maybe
I think you're being kind there.
We're maybe
we'll compromise somewhere in the middle then and go 5-ish. 4.5.
In your mind, anyway.
5-ish. Should we say 3? Right, yeah. Charlie White then. Michael throws to you actually. Yeah, Charlie White.
Yeah.
Another goal. Like what? Who's this guy? Like, who is he?
When did he turn into Ronaldo? I think I said a couple of weeks ago. But another goal. Probably another quiet enough performance. But does it really matter when you keep scoring? He pressed well at times. Him and McGeady did press the Rochdale defence because they were liking to play the ball out from the back. He did that job well. Another great header. I've turned into loving this man all of a sudden. So the more this keeps going, the better. He's definitely the key man for getting us promoted. I'd say probably him and Sanderson. If they keep performing, we have a great chance of going up. But yeah, another good day at the office for Charlie Wyke. His overall game wasn't great, but I've still given him a 7 because he got the goal.
Yeah, I'm on the sort of same lines as you. I think as long as he's putting the ball in the back of the net, you can't really whinge, can you?
Yeah.
No.
Did anyone else's heart stop when it looked like he'd injured his knee in that first half?
Yeah. I put it in our group chat. I said, I thought I'd never say this, but like, get up.
Yeah.
But I'll let you can take the 4 subs. Go on.
Who, me?
Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot. Take the 4 subs. Go.
Well, I basically did 6 as a clean sweep because I thought maybe a little bit harsh on Maguire, but I thought Scowen and Diamond did okay. Diamond in particular was pretty good when he came on, but there was a couple of decisions. There was a pass. He did a brilliant run, did all the hard work, and then his final pass, I think on 2 occasions, was either the wrong pass or it was quite a poor one. Scowen came on, and again, I don't think did anything different to what Winchester did, really. It was just a continuation of that. Maguire arguably was a little bit better and probably could have got a 7. He did create a little bit. He put some decent balls in. His free kick, where it looked like he was going to cross it in and then shot, was Frankie would have you believe that it was going in. The way he was kind of talking about it, but it was miles away. It was okay. It was a 6, and I think Dan Neil obviously came on, and I've not really rated him because he came on for 5 minutes, 4 minutes, if that. So 6s across the board for me for the subs.
Jimmy over on the website gave, let's just quickly look at this. He gave Maguire a 7. Maguire maybe did more defending in 40 minutes than he's done in any other game in Sunderland colours. He did it well and was also probably our most creative passer in the second half. So, yeah, I actually thought Chris Maguire came on and did well. He sort of became a bit of a super sub in the last 3 or 4 games, hasn't he? Just coming on and doing a job.
I thought he might have started today.
Scoring volleys in the last minute to draw games, just doing a job.
Just doing what Chris Maguire does. But for me, I think that Johnson must be in limbo with what to do with Maguire because it's a bit like, well, he's coming on and he's making an impact. Do I start him? But then you think, well, the reason he's making an impact is because he's playing against tired players for 20, 30 minutes, coming on, doing bits and pieces. And you need players like that, don't you? Sometimes, even when you're winning games.
Are you really going to drop Aidan McGeady or Jordan Jones or Lyndon Gooch at this stage? You're not. No. So it is a dilemma for him. And you got to wonder whether Maguire's happy with just doing that. I would have thought not.
No. I think he's probably got to be looking at Aidan O'Brien and thinking, why am I not playing ahead of him?
Yeah.
He's been unlucky, I think. And okay, man, the match then. Mike, do you want to go with yours? I have Sanderson. I just thought it was an all-round brilliant performance. Got a goal. It was just Dion Sanderson once again, brilliant. What about you?
Yeah, I've Sanderson as well. Another excellent performance from the man. As I said already, I think him staying fit is as important as Charlie Wyke at the moment. He's our best defender and actually our only defender at the moment, so we kind of need him. But like he plays beyond his years. He's a fantastic footballer. We're really blessed to have someone like him at the moment. So yeah, long may it continue for Sanderson. Absolute beast of a performance again.
Do you agree, Bomber? Are you on the Sanderson train?
Well, I tried my very best to not do the obvious and go with Sanderson, but I can't. There's no one else who I think stood out. He's a defender who scored a goal, kept a clean sheet, and there was that one moment in particular. I think Rochdale were running down that left-hand side and he's chased their winger back and he's almost done like a little back heel of a tackle, won the ball, turned and then ran back off of it, and that just screams of his class. So yeah, a goal, a clean sheet, commanding performance. It's Dion Sanderson, isn't it?
Yeah, full house. And Lee Johnson, Bomber, what do you reckon about John Holiday?
Again, I don't think we can probably fault too much the starting lineup. I think it's good that he gave Younger a chance, so he gets a bonus point for that. Dan Neil probably could have come on a little bit earlier, but I'm really splitting hairs there. It's an 8/9, let's say 8.5 for the gaffer for me. Right. I don't think there was any particular decisions that he got wrong, apart from, like I say, perhaps bringing Dan Neil on a little bit earlier, and maybe starting Maguire over O'Brien. But like I said, when you've won 2-0, it's hard to criticise, isn't it?
Yeah. Mike, what about you? What mark are you giving the gaffer?
Yeah, I gave Lee Johnson a 7. Again, as Bomber said, it was great that he trusted Younger into the team today. I love that he does that. He's not afraid to put players in.
Yeah, I would give Lee Johnson probably an 8 or a 9. Just, yeah. Can't really think of anything he got wrong today.
No.
The subs were all fair enough. I think I said this at the top, but even though Rochdale are one of the worst teams in the league, struggling, probably going to go down, we still had to turn up and we still had to win the game. Like, I always think this, that when people say, oh, well, they're shite, or they're not playing well, like we've got Pompey to play on Tuesday, and Pompey have got battered the day, it means nothing really. Pompey are still right up there. There's a reason they're there, and we've got to turn up at the end of the day. And it's the same with Rochdale today. I just think Johnson was right. He sort of got picked up on it by the reporter when he was talking in his press conference about Rochdale, when he sniggered when he was talking about them and said, oh, they're really good actually. You know, and Rochdale, to be fair to them today, considering the resources they've got and the fact they had so many players missing, did okay.
I thought they were all right. I thought they were all right, Gav. I didn't think they were a team that currently, well, they're now bottom of the league after that. I don't think they played like a team that were bottom of the league. I've seen a lot worse teams come to the Stadium of Light and play. And like the point you made about Pompey as well, you know, they, like you said, they got stuffed 4-1, and Northampton are currently sat in 19th place after that, exactly. 3 points. So, you know, on the day, if you drop your performance 10% and the other team picks it up by 10-15%, anything can happen. So, yeah, you can't take anybody for granted.
No, absolutely not. So, yeah, brilliant. We go into Tuesday in good form, in good fettle. We might be dropping like flies, but we're not giving up. We're keeping clean sheets and winning games, and that's the main thing. And Portsmouth are the next opponent, and we have to... That's a huge game. I mean... Every time we play Portsmouth, even if we were both in the middle of the table or down the bottom, that would still be a huge game for whatever reason. You know, Sunderland and Portsmouth are the two big clubs in this league, and we just have to hope that Sunderland do the business. Thanks very much, and we'll catch you later. Bye.